Sape Farm with the compliments of the Minister for Health and Medical Services. But don't eat it on the floor of Parliament, you can eat it outside. Thank you. And also further to that, may I add that on the premises of Parliament, precincts of Parliament today, technical officials from the Ministry of Health who are taking blood slides and tests, sugar testing and so on. They're on the leave hard. So if you have time and you want to get a shock of yourself on how much sugar you are accumulating, you can go have a test on that note. So that is a part of the announcement I'd like to share with you. Thank you. And with that note, I think Honourable Clerk, you lead us to the next item of business.
Asking and answering of questions.
Thank you. Question number 55 to be asked by the leader opposition MP for Auke Langalanga. Certain leader of opposition, Minister of Education, have agreed to defer this question, question number 55 on today's order paper, so we will have that deferred. The next question there, therefore, is the question number 71 by the leader of the independent group, Mr. Malaita MP. In the absence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and External Trade to respond to that, the Prime Minister will respond to that question. So on that note, on leader of the independent, you might ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for Prime Minister for stand on behalf of the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Question 71, order paper, today's order paper against the name Blome and go for Minister of Foreign Affairs, but Prime Minister will stand on for the Minister of Foreign Affairs. It reads, can the Foreign Affairs Minister inform the House whether the government has taken steps to rectify UN United Nations Transitional Organized Crime, and if not, what are the reasons for the delay in ratification? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for his Malaita, leader of independent group. Honourable Prime Minister, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me thank the Honourable Leader of the Independent Group and the MP for his Malaita for this important question. I will respond to that in my capacity as the supervising Foreign Minister. The United Nations Convention on Transnational and Organized Crime, UNTOC, also known as the Palermo Convention, was adopted on 15th November 2000 and came into force on the 29th of September 2003. It currently has about 147 signatories and 191 state parties. Say in the past 2 decades, transnational crimes have become more complex and sophisticated. Against that backdrop, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade, in close consultation and collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Labour and Immigration, as well as the Ministry of Police, National Security and Correctional Services, have recognized the need for global cooperation to mitigate and prevent these crimes, which have become so perilous. Having said that, Solomon Islands government fully recognizes the importance of the UN Convention against transnational organized crime and its protocols as a key instrument for strengthening global cooperation to combat transnational crimes, including human trafficking, drug trafficking and firearms smuggling. While Solomon Islands supports the convention, ratification requires a comprehensive domestic review and alignment of national laws, as well as the related infrastructure, in order for us to comply with the Convention's obligations. There are also articles within the Convention that subject Solomon Islands to the International Court of Justice. Also, a good number of countries have made reservations over certain articles of the conventions. Other countries have also stated that their domestic laws do take precedent. In other words, Mr. Speaker, the process has been delayed in part due to limited technical as well as institutional capacity to fully understand the Convention's provisions. The government wants to ensure that the national laws, law enforcement mechanisms, judicial systems, and the necessary infrastructure are adequately prepared or in place before ratification. Like many small island developing states, Solomon Islands faces competing legislative priorities and resource constraints as well. With that, Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform this Honourable Chamber that the Ministry of Police, National Security and Correctional Services and other border enforcement ministries, together with ANTOC, will be conducting a 2-day symposium in Honiara next month. This gathering will bring together a cross-section of ministries, agencies, border control, law enforcers, the judiciary and senior officials across the government system to strengthen our national response to the growing threat of transnational organized crime. Say that 2 days symposium will allow us to better understand the legal, operational and strategic benefits of this convention. Third, it will assist our frontline agencies to look at our national framework, enhance their interagency coordination while safeguarding our sovereignty, governance and stability of the country. Acceding to ANTOC and later ratifying ANTOC remains an important goal for the Solomon Islands, and once the necessary domestic legal frameworks and law enforcement infrastructure are in place, the government will be in a stronger position to ratify the process, and also to ensure that we do comply with its obligations once we become a state party. Too often the UN system tries to get countries to ratify conventions, which means domesticating international obligations. Drug-related incidents and discovery of abandoned speedboats in our waters is worrying. Therefore, modernizing our outdated laws is a priority. This includes leading ministries, line ministries, the need for them to work collaboratively with our development partners to properly manage our accession to the treaty, but also the implementation of its obligations. Based on that, Mr. Speaker, the ratification of ANTOC remains an important priority for the government. The government is taking a deliberate and coordinated approach to ensure that once ratified, the convention can be effectively implemented and impactfully enforced at the national level. And I believe the symposium that I made reference to will also allow us in terms of the next steps in acceding to ANTOC. In terms of domestic legislations, as I've alluded to, a good number of them, including the current Dangerous Drugs Act, then it needs to be amended to cope with the current challenges that we are facing on this front. And the Honorable Attorney General may wish to enlighten us on what is currently being done in terms of the DDA Act, Dangerous Drugs Act, especially given the challenges that we are now facing in terms of the trafficking, but as well as the consumption of illicit drugs in the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It's almost 15 years now since this Fala Convention has come into existence, and you may still no sign up lohem accede lohem yet. It seems an unreasonably long time. And even if you may know already in terms of domesticating or the requirements of law legislation, we would benefit from, even though you may know already, but you may accede, we would obviously benefit by resourcing technical assistance and also for helping you me for modernizing laws and systems, but also so in terms of you know, the recent examples, law man were arrested but then could not be charged because there are no offenses, law penal code or any another law here. So courts have had to release them, unfortunately. But if you meet party law this one, perhaps they could be charged and tried in their own jurisdictions because there would be, state parties would have reciprocal obligations where you may law blame weak on country blames, so that those are benefits that we don't have to be totally 100% ready before you may accede. So, you know, what is stopping us from acceding, ratifying, and then as you know, as we go along and they help us to be compliant in terms of our domesticating the requirements into our laws. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do thank the Honourable Leader of Opposition and the MP for our Langalanga for his important observations and comments. Just a couple of points, Mr. Speaker, and the Attorney General will come into comment in terms of the legal requirements. First, there has been ongoing collaboration, meetings, for example, between the convention, the ANTOC, with the Ministry of Commerce, Foreign Affairs and Police over the last few years. So that's been ongoing. Secondly, I believe the symposium that we will have in November, that will further enlighten us as to the necessary steps and the further opportunities that we can get as a state party once we become a state party under the convention. But I guess for us, it's different from the other conventions, you rightly said. I think over the years, we ratify them and slowly we domesticate them. This is slightly different in nature and scope, deals with trafficking of drugs, firearms, much more serious offenses compared to other conventions where it's basically symbolic for us to sign or to ratify, demonstrate international support. This one a little bit serious, a little bit in terms of us as a country being ready and prepared before we can implement the obligations. So on that note, I'll ask the Attorney General to supplement in terms of the legal requirements. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question as well. Maybe just before we dwell into the legalities of it, just on top, I think the objectives, key objectives, blame is one, in promoting international cooperation in combating organized crime. We strive for standardizing criminal offenses around the world, facilitating mutual assistance, protecting witness, and also enhancing capacity building amongst member states. Despite Somaliland not being a member state, Somaliland continues to receive assistance too from UNTOC. So because of the nature, as Prime Minister and nature of these things, I'm quite serious So someone continues to receive assistance from UNCTAD despite not being a member state. Okay, so the number of protocols also that are attached to this convention, and I think 3 protocols, one is protocol to prevent suppression and punish trafficking in persons, another one smuggling of migrants, and I think protocols against illegal manufacturing of arms or weapons. So those are the protocols that are attached to the convention. Okay, so despite so you may not sign up, but we have gone ahead and put in place a number of legislative compliances with treaty in any event. Mutual assistance finish, that one, and as mutual assistance and legal mutual assistance, the Attorney General and competent authority. And as a competent authority, I have also been facilitating stakal water requests ya finish naka. So we continue to, although not being parties to it, we implement finish no more something. Also proceeds of crime, imigaram law blame finish. Anti-corruption, imigaram laws blame. Anti-money laundering, imigaram laws blame. Cyber crime bill, we're still working on it. Extradition, we already have extradition laws. So in terms of 15 years youth talent to our leader, one of the things we've been working on law chambers is legislation acting passing of 2023, enabling Attorney General for doing motor reprints. And so once we've done the reprints, there's about 250 plus laws that have been doing reprints. And so our laws are currently up to date. From that, I'm starting with each review here for updating everyone's blame. So that's currently ongoing. So in terms of the dangerous drugs Act, where Prime Minister also mentioning, there are 3 steps that we are taking now. And Minister for Health and stuff, but I think he has signed in to force rules under the Dangerous Drugs Act for criminalizing. So now it becomes an offense law. What leader you mentioned earlier on, and those rules have been made, and Minister I think has signed it last week. Yeah. So the other part, so there are 3 steps we're taking in terms of the DDA here. And that's one. Second one is there's an amendment coming to Parliament just for increasing some of the penalties. And then there's this overhaul that will be done. It's not long, by a little bit, take a long time a little bit, and there'll be a number of consultations going around. So once that is cabinet approval, then overhaul legislative mechanism relating to DDA will be start looking for overhauling. We go encompassing not only DDA but even penal code, criminal procedure code, anti-money laundering, everything encompassing too. So it's quite a big reform by happen once that is done. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So if side law mutual assistance here, although we are not a state party yet, ogat man we arrest but you mean remote offences in our laws, they could have been charged if you may refer them go home jurisdictions law under law that mutual assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. In terms of extradition, some countries have extra territorial effect laws. So apply law, citizens brought outside of their own country. So once that happens and they make that request, yes, we comply with them. But there are rules whereby for a long time you make that for compliance. Some follow where no more battery line laws blame me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Leader.
Were that option explored all were arrested but could not be charged. Did we explore possibility of home country blogger requesting extradition, whether country Magarem extraterritorial laws were apply loket lo here? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. In terms of mutual assistance, now by request comes, so currently there's no request we can come from outside or outside jurisdiction coming in. Whether I'm explored or not, I answer me not this time.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney. Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, I mean, Biogat no sabe that all citizen blogged arrested lo here, so you must check go. I mean, the home country blogged or the part of Commonwealth number 2 is of common law jurisdiction. I'm assuming, or below Malaysia. And so, some discussions could have been had. And then formality now, or now request come, but informal, they can't request if they don't know about it. But in terms of the change where Minister Blue Health had me sign in finish here, if this situation happen again, it would now be caught under this one new change. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. Yes, but I'm caught because under the law, DDA, we may provide for a number of illicit substances where if you got him license, you will be caught. And then empower the minister for making rules under each one of the substances here, how you deal with it. So for this particular substance, the rules now have been made clear, and offences and penalties, everything here go with it, which was not done in the past. There are also a number of illicit substances that don't have that one because of time. Where time of working was 1970s. So as time progressed, you may get what new substances will come up. Then we would still need to update in what schedule for looking what the current ones are with the assistance of the UN ODC. Now I think the other one is on top. Those are the ones that you may be using for updating what the current database will be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Leader of Independent, and before is Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question. Listening to the Prime Minister's statement about the capacity that we still yet to have, Mr. Speaker. Me just like what the capacity is needed, we still fall short. So that inside doing the ratification. So that one I like for Sabe because Speaker, I'm in line also with the first supplementary question, Leader of Opposition. Since we have some other things that never been happening in the country, like illegal drugs, things that come in the country where I have no legislate for, Mr. Speaker. I ask this, Mr. Speaker, because of there are some cases where Pogolo High Court, but then DPP have me say that they don't have laws to try and charge these people because of those falsehoods of those legislations or law. Mr. Speaker, because I know that countries that ratify UNTOC, what the government finished all the legislations in place, criminalized organized crime offenses, or have been in place already. So that's why I say, why not him, no matter what type of capacity for him, time for him to put more things in place, so that we can have these people who are committing these offenses must be charged, Mr. Speaker. So me just like to ask him, Is this true? I've heard it from some people who are out of law, DPP officer and police officers. Where I asked them, Mr. Speaker, why not this man not charged for this drug offense? They said that offense drug him no inside law, criminal what's charging money. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is very serious. Yeah? And I think government should start to look law things. Yeah? That's why I'm bringing this question, Mr. Speaker. So I just want to know the capacity that we don't have, that PMMC and then Otalem number house. Why not put down for ratifying this whole impact? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Leader. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the independent members, for that question. I think in terms of the offences as stated earlier, Minister of Health has signed into I think these are rules made under the DDA, the Dangerous Drugs Act, where him enable what offence provisions here for come into play, and then time in manufacturing, distributing, selling, supplying, everything go into it. So that's been done, and the next part, as stated earlier on, is an amendment will be also brought to Parliament. And the last one is a comprehensive review, or you say overhaul, or what illicit substance related legislation. I think in terms of capacity, a number of things that I think we should also need to have in place. We need to have some transnational organized crime, so involving beyond borders, and also water supply. So we need to have enough enforcement and capabilities too. Some patrol boats and also for to go around. The immigration officers, customs officers, biosecurity, also IT officers with cybercrime will come into place. So the bankers blame me because of anti-money laundering. So it's not just basically just illicit substances. It's a number of things where organized crime himself go putumota arms into smuggling of persons, arms, drugs, anti-money laundering or selling, even the shipping of stolen goods too. Those are covered under as transnational organized crime. You say from borders will be coming. So it's a number of things that we need to step up to, and also for you, Mr. Able, for addressing transnational crime. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Honorable Leader.
Yeah, thank you. Just on the converse, Nomo, as we domesticate these international conventions, also we looking law anti-money laundering. And make them go open a bank account here, or my. I'm hard no. You like go withdraw $1,000 or get like him go. You out in sort I think no matter so tell me down to look good Louis was time you will give you $1,000. True one, you know ultimate you go ultimate man or negative you what make everything very hard to go now. So this one too I think we almost look them time you will or get minimum or something for big country or get something country where something happening. But we don't deny. I mean, member blow loan by lab of fishing no me. Things say pulum one was napa, but when one was submarine now, pulume. So get money kakam lo imina. And of course, the devastation happening in Tonga and Fiji in terms of drugs, it's not no laughing matter. So we are on the route. We are already suffering from this thing. So we have to take it seriously. But then you must mindful too that ogat burden him not become too much for you more, then you may more problem for how to implement and also. I thought I should just throw that in the thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank the Leader for Opposition for those very important observations and comments that he has just made. Yes, we are no longer a sort of an emerging market or a transshipment place. Transshipment venue, an emerging market now for the illicit drugs here, methamphetamine and whatever others here. So yes, Mr. Speaker, that is why the government is now working to ensure that the necessary amendments to our legislations are made, because it does affect our population, our youth, our people, and the impacts that it has. Actually, we are quite behind compared to other countries in the region in terms of legislation on this front. So the government is attaching a lot of importance and a sense of urgency to the issue that is at hand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Leader.
Yeah, just in terms of penalties, no more, sir. This time, Mogat America, or susutim any canoe golo Venezuela, or say karem drug, or susutim now, money pieces no more solvate. So I think by me must look penalties here, giving patrol boat some strong machine gun or set. Susutim what money. Again, kill him Mogat solvat now. Again, come more, you may feed him Mogat more, person more, go more, magistrates must turn up more, high court more, excellent. But it's going to be a drain on our resources. The other thing, of course, you may know any death penalty now, or all man before now, suffer this one, but I think by you must think around him, or drugs offenses. It seems to work for some Asian jurisdictions and Barawa reduce it now, trafficking, low drugs, especially trafficking. You should consider a very severe or Muslim, some Muslim country, Sharia law, or cut him finger, if you steal one finger, you steal 2 times more, 2 whole finger, also. Man drug minus awena, you cut him, but you must cut him some whole part of him, make him feel you will not do him behind more. Something also. You will not do light follow this one, Mr. Speaker, but anyway, for you all think, penalty must be a real deterrent, not a soft touch. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Point noted, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Attorney General, would like to comment on that observation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for those comments. I think just a comment and also in response to more. We've done a number of comparative analysis of what other jurisdictions, and depending on the scale of the operations in Guatemala, it starts from 5 years in imprisonment to life or something like death. So there's more severity in a number of Commonwealth countries. It becomes life imprisonment now. So those will be part of the amendments that come, and also in a bigger review time immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Harare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of Independent, for that question as well. Thank you for Prime Minister and AG for answering. I'd just like to thank first time Leader Blow Independent, because this fella convention, assuming me ratify a long time finish here. Because I remember when it was passed at the United Nations, 2000, Milo there. So me a little bit surprised now time question was raised in the order paper today to see that we haven't ratified this. There's over 190 countries in this year where what are signed up. It's one of the most universal adopted conventions in the United Nations, and particularly in the space of crimes and transnational crimes. So it's a little bit surprising that you mean or do you met? I think assumption and good for me. Put them aside that you shouldn't assume this sort of things. But I think I listened to the answers and the domestication of laws and all of that. That's part of the usual processes for international law and domesticating that part into our domestic laws and that. But I think I would like to highlight the importance of this particular one in terms of cooperation framework inside here. That is a big part of this particular convention. Despite all the other things that we will definitely need to domesticate, our laws bring them up to par with the latest. The importance of cooperation, I think, is very important for us to ratify this one. I think there is not much, obstacles to ratifying it. My question is time frame there for me ratify, because this one is one for a no-brainer. And one for where you should ratify no. I think you may tell him go ambassador me for him go 34th floor where law UN secretariat and ratify him straight no there. The other issues about domestication and that's a usual thing for any international agreement. But I think it's so important to do. I think if you look at the status of ratification, many Pacific islands already ratifying. One for big omission perhaps is just our neighbor, Papua New Guinea, might not have ratified yet. But I think Vanuatu, Fiji, everyone blaming Melanesia, particularly, what already doing this one. So I just wanted to ask if there's a time frame for ratification. Otherwise, you may agree with you go doing for you now. It's very important now with things catching up to us in terms of transnational crime. But once again, the importance of cooperation, international cooperation that this framework allows, I think that is what one of the big benefits of this convention. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let me thank the Chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee and the MP for East Harare for those important observations and comments. Yes, as alluded to earlier by the AG, despite the fact that we have not ratified, there has been ongoing collaboration and cooperation between ANTOC and the number of ministries here, police, commerce, and foreign affairs. And of course, one of the key objectives of this convention is to strengthen global cooperation, as the honourable member has rightly alluded to. Yes, there is a sense of urgency now for us to ratify this convention. As I've said, a number of countries in the region, in terms of legislation, they are quite ahead in terms of their legislation to domesticate this one. I'm confident that with the amendments that the AG has referred to, but also the need to amend not only the DDA but other relevant legislations in this space, we will be in a better position to implement these international conventions once we ratify them. Because sometimes, even though we ratify, but even not the necessary frameworks in place, then we're even able to comply with the implementation of the obligations too. Yeah, so that is that. So I believe with the symposium that will be held next month, we look forward to the report of that symposium, and that could trigger the agency, or as well as the importance, not the agency, but the importance for us, and of course the agency, given the current situation that we are now facing. So we'll liaise with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as to the outcomes of that symposium, so that one of the takeaways from that should be the ratification of this important piece of convention. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of Independent Group and MP for East Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, I just like for welcome a small comment before me thanking our Prime Minister and the Attorney General. As our colleague Blumia with supplementary questions and comments that make him that for quick time legislative ratification, Mr. Speaker. I think that is very important. Since me look him now, some of the things that are happening under the transnational organized crime start going on in our country now, Mr. Speaker. And if we don't rectify this, also me tell him today, Mr. Speaker, then by me finding now how not to take him out of local. That is one thing very important. So we just thank him, Prime Minister. Thank you very much for the symposium that by for him, so that that one and quickly work towards ratification of this. Like Mr. Speaker, also when we talk about one of the protocols of is to prevent trafficking in person. But if you look at Mr. Speaker, now in our country, domestically trafficking and here in our logging camps, in our fishing boats. So how not by me doing, Mr. Speaker? I mean, these are things that's why we question him. So I want him to quick time with him ratification, so that he is caught him out people there, Mr. Speaker. Manufacturing of trafficking, one of the protocol in firearms. Yeah, what something was saying. People in firearms, how not by him charging what under what? Mr. Speaker, and ammunition or something was. So, sir, me just like for thanking my colleagues for supplementary questions. Thank you, Prime Minister and Attorney General, for your responses to our questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for East Malaita and leader of the independent group. We move now straight on to our next item of business.
Bills, second reading, the Public Service Bill 2025.
Honourable members, debate on the Public Service Bill 2025 continues and concludes today. Members may speak on the general principles of this bill, and in so doing, may I kindly remind members again to comply with the rules of debate as set out in our standing orders. The floor is now open for debate. Thank you, Honourable MP for East Arare, Chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker, for recognizing the member for East Arare to make a contribution to the many excellent contributions that have already been submitted here on the floor on this particular bill. At the outset, we'd like to say thank you, Nomalo, Minister, for bringing in this bill to this House for us to deliberate on and adopt. I'd like to also thank the GNAC government also for bringing this important bill for our consideration here on the floor. But definitely not the least, thank you to the BLC for their continued hard work and support with their recommendations. I think we'll go for 70 recommendations. Yeah, it's quite a lot of useful recommendations already. Hard-working BLC that is doing this work. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of public service, I think it's fair to say that, as already mentioned, that this is an essential part of any country. It's a crucial part of statescraft in terms of how state, country, and nation looks after itself and its citizen. And I think if you look at the readings of the philosophers that put together the modern state as we know now, a few centuries ago, from Europe, the likes of Rousseau and John Locke, they do refer to the idea of public service being one of these fundamentals that underlines a modern state. So it is essential. So I agree with many comments that are made already about the essential need for a functioning and effective public service in our country, Mr. Speaker. So, it's part of the social contract that countries do have between citizens and leaders after the revolutions, where kings were thrown down, Republicans rose and republics became part of the new democratic movement around 15th, 16th century. So it's definitely an important part of the modern state and a sovereign state as we know it today, Mr. Speaker, sir, as you know. Mr. Speaker, in terms of public service, we all know that the reference that's given to them usually is that they are the permanent government. Public service now, permanent government, yeah. Now stay there throughout elected governments. Like all of us in this house, we come and go. Yourself included too, Mr. Speaker, but the public service is said to be and been referred to as the permanent government. Stop there for continue on with the work of serving our people and nations around the world. So the need for updating the laws that looks at these particular important segments of our nation is very, very important. One of the issues that are picked up of the recommendation from the BLC is the need perhaps for us to really look to complement existing laws that are already in place. I think there were a couple of instances where questions were asked about how does this impact existing law, Kainosen. So I think it's something that we should look generally in terms of drafting bills coming in to ensure that there is a complementarity between the bills that are coming in and the laws that already exist. Because as we know, when it comes to interpretation by the courts, I think they don't see new laws as implying some amendments to existing laws unless those are done expressly. So I think it's important for us to keep that in mind as we move forward in terms of doing our legislation here. Very, very some good ideas coming into new laws, but at the same time we have to make sure that it doesn't conflict with already existing laws as well, that already has defined concepts spelled out in those existing laws. Mr. Speaker, sir. So I think it's good to take some of the recommendations along those lines by the BLC, just for us in terms of working as a parliament and the government, the executive, in terms of bringing bills to this house. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, in accordance with your advice to us to comment on policies, I think I would like to do that with a few points that I see and observe in the draft. One such is the Code of Conduct. I understand that this is something that the Minister will be doing yourself, and that's well and true and good. I would like to encourage the Minister to look into thresholds that perhaps he may like to involve or add in the Code of Conducts that he will be working on upon the adoption of this bill. Zero tolerances, for example. Zero tolerance on corruption. When there's corruption that is found to be practiced or exercised within the public service, imi putum zero tolerance nalade. Imi no tolerate mo. Man way you kotlo that one, woman way kotlo that one. I think you should leave him now. Service no more. That one. Zero tolerance on what the women blame me, assault or some fella harassment inside the public service. Those sort of things I think would help us in terms of bringing up a professional public service and public servants' behaviors and attitudes and codes of conduct. So I would like to suggest that for the Minister to consider when he starts on thinking about the Code of Conduct that will follow the passage of this bill. Mr. Speaker, sir. When it comes to the classification structure, I think this is a good step forward for the grades that are applied, the levels that are applied to the various positions that will be in the public service. that is, I think, something that is very much welcomed. To put that issue of classification right in center in the middle of this, what we are hearing is a modernization of our public sector. That in itself, I think, would be a great addition to how we look after our hardworking public servants. Grade levels applied to positions in the public sector, and of course reflected in the different remunerations and salary ranges that will be applied to these grade levels. Mr. Speaker, sir, the other one that I particularly appreciate seeing it mentioned in black and white in the bill is the idea of merit principle. I think this is something that as public servants we should put this right at the front and center, that there might be other considerations when recruitment is done, when promotion is done, but I think the bottom line is we should try and grow a public sector that is based on merit. So that is something that is very important, and I appreciate very much the fact that this one had reflected well already inside the bill, throughout the bill, in fact. So that is very much welcomed. Mr. Speaker, sir, the other one, in terms of guiding the work of the public service, is the core values that are listed there. Mr. Speaker, sir, my only, it's not a concern, but a suggestion is perhaps there are too many core values listed here. We have accountability, equity, ethicality, impartiality, integrity, professionalism, respect, responsiveness, and transparency. All very good, definitely values, but the core, I think the idea here is core, like what the main ones that you should look like. And from my own thinking, I would have thought that perhaps 3 or 4 fala help, and a few of those would encapsulate already some of those values that we see in there, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to put forward ideas like integrity should be right at the top, perhaps service, service to our people there, and excellence. We have to spell it out. We want excellence as part of our core value, and of course professionalism. And I think under those 4 you would find equity and ethicality, impartiality, and all those on those 4 already built in. But that is just a suggestion in terms of getting our public servants. When you ask them a question like, hey, when I'm not core value me by a public servant here, by a travel, tingin go minosabe how much core value na by a listing by a wrong one fellow. But the idea is that I think it's good for our public servants to quickly recall what the core values of the public service are, and the shorter, the better, that they will really take to heart what the important ones that I think also encapsulates the others that are there. But that's something to look into later, and it's perhaps it's good to for Mekem long or say Mekem time if I'll interview what must remember now every core values here, Mr. Speaker said. And of course, respect is something that underlines all our work of public service in terms of how we do things with the public and our interaction with the public. Mr. Speaker, sir, I think perhaps might be controversial, this one, but I think we also might need to look into the ideas of given the fact that, of course, public service has to be apolitical, but I think when it comes to the election, we see that there is a clear provision here for resignation. You must resign now before you may contest any election. But I'm looking at this at the broader picture, particularly as it comes to encouraging women in politics. Perhaps the idea of leave without pay, particularly for what the women we might like to contest for allowing now this will increase law candidacy from our women folk. We keep on hearing the temporary special measures have been discussed in previous parliaments already, and this kind of efforts to try and encourage women leaders in our political scene at the highest level. I'm thinking that perhaps, you know, there are very good quality leadership in terms of women in the public sector, in the public service. The idea would be that perhaps for them, instead of resigning, we might allow them to perhaps take leave without pay if they want to contest an election. So those are just some ideas. I know it might be controversial, but at the same time, we should also look at other issues that might come into play with regards to women perhaps given an opportunity to also contest in elections. Mr. Speaker, sir, my very short experience in terms of being involved in politics and campaigns and candidates, and trying to meet also the threshold of the Political Party Integrity Act that talks about a certain percentage of candidates has to be women. My own experience is that our women folk are very risk averse. They factor in a lot of things before they start to make a decision about whether they might want to contest. I see that a lot of qualified, a lot of them have good ideas, good visions, but when it comes to the final decision to make that step, especially many of them are working in public service, the idea of perhaps leaving the job and taking that risk is a gamble that is perhaps too far for them to cross, a bridge too far for them, and thereby making the decision not to seriously consider tendering their candidacy. So that is something that I've noticed, that our women folk are very much risk averse when it comes to this. Compare that to male, Mr. Speaker, sir, as you know, got the money, time what come look at me for say, or like him run under Bana Blue Fala or same. Every money win finish na. Time what arrive, everyone say me win finish, me take finish, so you must take me now, or party blue you. Kind something the same. But a lot of women, opposite. Any kind of factoring now what they're doing, man, or same. So the idea is perhaps to look into this idea for give them some, particularly women folk in public service, knowing of course apolitical. We might have to put some conditions there as well, but the idea that allowing women folk perhaps to take leave without pay could be an idea that would help promote them so that they don't factor in that particular important part of their livelihood if they do want to contest in elections. But that, I admit, could be controversial, but perhaps worth looking into for us here in Parliament as well, and of course the government to think about that. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the encouragement that I'm hearing around here as well from other speakers about the need for us to try and move towards a digital e-government approach to our public service in terms of the service that we provide to our people. I think we are now well placed that we should try and encourage what is known as the e-government to allow services to be provided to the public through the use of digital platforms. I think that would help in efficiency as well in terms of service to the public. The era of artificial intelligence is also upon us. A lot of concern on this particular space, but at the same time, I see that there's a lot of opportunities as well that public service can use in that particular space to try and employ artificial intelligence or AI in their work to help complement the service that they give to the public, Mr. Speaker, sir. But I think in the end, as we all know around this House, I think the question that the public are asking is that whether this bill, and when it gets passed, this law, would make a difference in terms of their lives and the services that we, as the public servants or the public servant, provide to the public. Perhaps what's something was saying, by the time law hem pass here, by me ring law telephone, by man answer nothing. Kainosen. So the operationalization, I think that one in the end becomes really what the test that the public will be testing us on. A lot of the provisions here are very important for the smooth running already of public servants, pay structures, and all of that in terms of the governance. But in the end, I think public servants will always be judged by how they respond in terms of everyday running and operationalization of serving the public, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think it's fair to say that the perception of the public towards the public service is perhaps not a good one at this time. Corruption index, perception rankings have always put public service as one of those that are perhaps involved in activities that are perhaps seen as corrupt by the public at large, by the various perception index studies that we have seen. Of course, with these perception index studies, there are always other factors in play as well there. But I think generally it's fair to say that there is a feeling or perception by the public that our public service is perhaps not serving them well, and perhaps some factors of corruption might be involved in there as well. So the idea of getting us down the ranking and increasing the trust of the public towards our public service, this very important and crucial piece of our country, is something that should be the main test for us in terms of implementation of this particular bill and law when it comes into force. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support this bill and I resume my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member for East Karare. Thank you. Leave me the floor to the Honourable Minister for Education and MP for South Choice. So you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Speaker, for recognizing the Member for South Choice and Minister for Education to take the floor and lend my voice in support of the Public Service Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation that is before us, it sets, or it will reshape the way our public institution functions for the benefit of our people. Firstly and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I wish to acknowledge the Minister of Public Service and your senior management team, led by your Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Service, for your tireless and dedicated leadership. And of course, also I'd like to thank the BLC for taking the time to scrutinize and look at this bill before it comes to this floor of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, let me be clear on the outset that this bill is not only for the Ministry of Public Service, but it is for the whole of our government legislation, one that defines the future direction for all government ministries, agencies, and departments. It lays down a unified governance framework that will govern or guide the delivery of public services in more coordinated, effective, and accountable manner. The Public Service Bill 2025, Mr. Speaker, seeks to modernize our public administration machinery by ensuring that our public service institutions are responsive, professionals, and also align with the aspiration of our people. This bill sets the foundation for a robust, inclusive, and a forward-looking public service, that is designed to meet the dynamics of governance in the 21st century. At its heart, this bill reflects a collective ambition to ensure that delivery of government services is transparent, accountable, efficient, and citizen-focused. It is a move towards building a professional and ethical workforce supported by strong administrative systems that is guided by a clear and defined governance principles. Mr. Speaker, in my capacity as the Minister for Education, I wish to address an important feature of this bill, the removal of the provision relating to the employment conditions of teachers for the public service framework. This matter are now rightly addressed under the Education Act 2023, which was passed by this Parliament and come into force to provide a more comprehensive and sector-specific legal framework for education. Clause 11, page 9 of the bill states that, and I quote, does not apply to the employment of teachers to whom Section 116B of the Constitution applies. This implies that the Public Service Bill 2025 does not include teachers. It also suggests that the bill does not cater for employment of teachers and that there are no provisions in this bill that relate to teaching profession. This is well understood, Mr. Speaker, and appreciated by my ministry, the Ministry of Human Resource and Medical Education, which the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development and the Teaching Service Commission as teachers' employments and conditions are already comprehensively covered under the Education Act 2023. However, let me assure Parliament that the Education Act and its regulations provide provisions that allow conditions of employment applicable to public service to be extended to our hardworking teachers. And this is one of the advantages of the Education Act 2023 is serving our teachers. Both the Teaching Service Commission and MED have also noted with satisfaction clauses 66 of the bill, which deals with voluntary retirement for public service between the age of 45 and 55 years. Based on the life expectancy in Solomon Islands, it will be good, or it will be desirable for us to see that a compulsory retirement age increase from 50 to 60 years. We also welcome the activation of Clause 76 of the bill, which upholds the establishment of the Public Service Training Board. With these important functions of overseeing the training needs of public service and aligning such training with the human capital development goals of our country, particularly those implementations under the Solomon Islands Government Scholarship Program. The identification and recommendations of public servants for training in their areas of specialization must be demand-driven. And we must ensure that the training provided matches the real needs and priorities of respective ministries and sectors. Mr. Speaker, further to that, we note that the great satisfaction, the provision under Part 12 of the bill, which outlined the process of reporting alleged misconduct and applying penalties to public service who committed offences, the onus will rest upon relevant divisions with the Ministry of Public Service to enforce, investigate, and hold those officers accountable for their actions, decisions, and behaviours. It is also heartening to note that the bill provides for special temporary employment arrangements, especially when ministry capacity becomes overburdened and overloads increase. The bill, in its respect, provides a mechanism that will address long-standing concerns relating to public service appointments and other human resource management issues currently experienced across our government ministries. While the Teaching Service Commission remains provided for in our national constitution, Mr. Speaker, this bill has necessarily revised its scope and functions to align with the current policy's directions. It no longer serves the same extensive role with this bill, but its existence and core responsibilities remain safeguarded under our constitutional arrangements. This change is not a diminishing of teachers' profession, Mr. Speaker. Rather, it is a strategic step forward to ensure that teachers and educators are served by a framework that is more tailored, relevant, and responsive to professional context. It is also important part of a larger effort to streamline governance, reduce overlap, and improve efficiency on how we manage our public institutions. Mr. Speaker, importantly, this bill reinforces key pillars of good governance: transparency, accountability, and compliances. These are the hallmarks of high-performing public service. The inclusion of clear reporting mechanisms, defined performance expectations, and a focus on ethical conduct that will help build public trust in our institutions and deliver real results for our people. Mr. Speaker, the modernization of the public service is more than a structural or a legislative reform. It is a mindset shift. It is about cultivating a culture of service, professionalism, and innovation. It involves embracing digital transformation, investing in our human capital, our human resource development, and ensuring that we have the system that is in place to monitor, evaluate, and improve our service continuously. The bill also emphasizes merit-based recruitment, performance management, and institutional integrity, principles that are vital to ensuring fairness and equity in public service delivery. A modern public service is one that is inclusive, accountable, and future-ready. Mr. Speaker, members, in conclusion, the bill of the Public Service Bill 2025 represents an essential milestone in our nation's governance journey. It is a forward-thinking legislative instrument that reflects our shared vision of our public services that will be responsive, ethical, and people-centered. As the Minister of Education, I welcome the clarity and the improved governance arrangement that this bill brings to the administration of our teaching professions. I am confident that through the Education Act 2023 and this bill, we are creating a more coherent, modern, and an effective system for managing our educators and also, of course, all our public service servants alike. And let us move forward with the passing of this bill, not merely as a matter of legislative businesses, but as a collective commitment to improve the lives of our citizens through a reform and a modernized public service. Let us ensure that this system we build today will serve the generation of our tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I wish to support the motion and resume my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Education, Human Resources Development. Thank you, Honourable Minister for Environment and Minister of Planning. Sorry, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity, and also wish to thank those colleagues who are able to speak before me. First things first, Mr. Speaker, let me also acknowledge our hardworking Minister for Public Service. I know PAs and officers from the ministry. I also wish to acknowledge the hardworking staff from the Attorney General's chamber, and of course the BLC team for the scrutiny that you provide him and good recommendations that you Also highlighting inside the report below, me like for also acknowledging the hardworking BLC team, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is an honor for me as an MP for Kaboto to rise in staunch support of the Public Service Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, this bill represents one of the most comprehensive reforms in our public service since independence. This bill seeks not only to modernize how the public service is structured and managed, but also to restore professionalism, accountability, and fairness across all levels of government. Mr. Speaker, I am so encouraged to see that this bill provides a clear legal framework for public service management, defining how ministries are organized, how officers are recruited and promoted, and how performance is measured. It moves away from arbitrary decisions and introduces a consistent merit-based system that rewards capability, integrity, and results. Mr. Speaker, I'll reiterate and re-emphasize some of the important points raised by my good friend MP for East Harare. What contained in the bill and very important for perhaps re-emphasize him. Mr. Speaker, at the core of this bill, the bill aims for creating now independent, high-performing public service that delivers responsive and effective service to both the government and the people of Solomon Islands. Mr. Speaker, the bill reinforces the principle that public service must not serve politics, but policy. It also emphasizes that it must not serve individuals, but institutions. Public service must remain neutral, professional, and accountable to the laws and values that guide our nation. Mr. Speaker, one important point of Part 4 were already emphasized by MP for East Harare is in regards to the core values. I think it's very important. Whilst we have 9 fundamental values contained there for emphasizing the importance of the core values that public service should adhere to, I think some of these we can narrow it down because you can encapsulate with limited number of values or things we have contained in that part. Mr. Speaker, one area that also me quite appreciative is that this bill is strengthening the merit principle as the foundation of all appointments and promotions inside the public service. Ensuring that positions in this public service are filled based on competence, not connections. It gives every Pantox Solomon Islanders a fair and equal opportunity to serve their country through hard work and ability. The days, Mr. Speaker, of favoritism, nepotism, and hidden agendas in the recruitment must come to an end. This bill ensures the public service positions belong to those who have earned them through merit and performance. Mr. Speaker, this bill also introduces a new performance management framework that hold officers accountable for their work. I think this one is very important, and I'm pretty much appreciative of that, where it requires the regular assessments, mentoring, and training to ensure every officer performs to the best of their ability. Mr. Speaker, this is about results, ensuring that public servants deliver what is promised on time and with quality. For too long, Mr. Speaker, underperformance has gone unaddressed. This bill changes that culture by linking performance directly to accountability and development. Mr. Speaker, I wish also to register my appreciation for the bill to really emphasize transparency in the actual principal law. The bill defines the duties of the Minister, the Public Service Commission, permanent secretaries, the responsible officers. Each has specific obligations to uphold good governance, promote efficiency, and report annually to Parliament. This creates a transparent chain of responsibility so that decisions can be traced and leaders held accountable. Mr. Speaker, this bill further provides for fairness and justice within workplace. It sets out clear mechanisms for employee grievances, internal reviews, and disciplinary actions. It provides protection against victimization and discrimination. It upholds equal employment opportunity and strengthens gender and diversity representation, Mr. Speaker. This is a major step forward, Mr. Speaker, in ensuring that every public officer is treated with respect and dignity. Another key reform, Mr. Speaker, I wish to acknowledge is the emphasis on ethical behavior and prevention of corruption. The bill introduces strict penalties for offenses such as impersonation, giving false information, misuse of government property, or undue influence. These measures, Mr. Speaker, strengthen the integrity of the public service and restore public confidence in government institutions. Mr. Speaker, this bill is not just about compliance. It is about culture change. It aims to transform the public service from being process-driven to being results-driven. It demands accountability at every level. It empowers our offices, our public service offices, to innovate, perform, and deliver. It places citizens at the center of public service delivery. Let me also acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, that this reform will not be easy. Changing a system that has operated for decades under outdated laws will take time, leadership, and commitment. But this Parliament has a duty to lay the foundation, Mr. Speaker. The future of our governance depends on the professionalism of our public service. Without a disciplined and competent public service, no government policy, no matter how visionary, can succeed. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, this Public Service Bill 2025 is a landmark reform that will modernize our institutions, strengthen accountability, and build a fair, transparent, and efficient public service. It ensures that those who serve the people of Solomon Islands, Mr. Speaker, do so with integrity, professionalism, and respect for the rule of law. I commend, Mr. Speaker, my good friend, the Honourable Minister of Public Service, for his leadership in bringing this bill before the House. I urge all honourable members to support its passage. Mr. Speaker, I stand in full support of the Public Service Bill 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Any other members wish to contribute to the motion? Thank you, Honourable MP for Southern Georgia. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Speaker, for allowing me to debate very briefly on the Public Service Bill 2025. At the outset, may I like to talk thank you to the government, the Minister of Public Service, for taking council bill before this House. I also acknowledge the Chairman and members of the Bills and Legislation Committee for their detailed scrutiny and inquiry into the bill. Also the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Service and also the officials. Also the Legal Drafts Office for having worked tirelessly in shaping it. Mr. Speaker, the public service is the foundation of effective government. It is the machinery through which national policy becomes action. Public servants manage institutions, deliver essential services, and uphold the rule of law. A capable, neutral, and accountable public service is the backbone of good governance and national stability. Mr. Speaker, therefore, I acknowledge the noble intentions of this bill. The Public Service Bill 2025 seeks to establish an independent, high-performing public service and delivers governance services efficiently and responsibly.
It provides a strong legal framework to guide the organizational structure, remuneration, and human resource management of the public service, ensuring greater accountability, transparency, and consistency in the governance. The bill defines the respective roles and responsibilities of the minister, the Public Service Commission, permanent secretaries, and the responsible officers, while setting out the rights and obligations of the public service employees. It promotes fairness, equality of opportunity, and merit-based recruitment, while also facilitating continuous training and professional development. In doing so, it lays the foundation for a professional, accountable, and future-ready public administration. Mr. Speaker, the public service is expected to translate government policy into practical results. Ministers may set directions, but it is the public servants who implement decisions like, for example, building of infrastructure, manage finances, and deliver services across Solomon Islands. Without a competent and disciplined public service, even the best policies will remain unfulfilled. Our people judge government not by the speeches we make or the laws we pass, but by the services they received. The success or failure of government program depends on the strength, integrity, and capability of our public service. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, a politically neutral public service ensures continuity of government through political transitions. Its role is to serve the government of the day impartially, preserving institutional memory and protecting state stability. Neutrality prevents politicization, protects professionalism, and upholds confidence in governance. Governments may change, but the state remains. The public service is that constant thread that weaves stability into our nation's fabric, ensuring that citizens continue to receive services regardless of politics. Public servants are the visible face of government. Through teachers, nurses, police officers, and administrators, citizens experience in the state in their daily lives. Their conduct shapes public trust. When services are delivered efficiently and ethically, confidence in the government grows. When they fail, legitimacy erodes. The public service therefore holds the delicate responsibility of representing government in every village, classroom, clinic across the country. Mr. Speaker, the public service is central to economic and social progress. It manages development programs, coordinates donor supports, and implements nation strategies. No reform or investment can succeed without an effective administration to plan, execute, and monitor outcomes. When public institutions function well, we guarantee every services around the country, like health, roads, build schools, improve healthcare, services expand, the community thrives. The bill, therefore, before us is to provide a stronger legal and institutional framework to enable that level of performance. So, through system of audit, procurement, and financial management, the public service ensures that public funds are used lawfully and transparently. A professional and accountable service can limit the abuse of power and protects both the government and citizens from corruptions and mismanagement. The bill strengthens those safeguards. It introduces clearer rules of performance and management, discipline and accountability, giving both government and the public officers a sound framework to operate within the law and in the public interest. Sir, in a diverse country like Solomon Islands, a fair and inclusive public service promotes cohesion. It must fairly represent all provinces and communities. It must become an institution that unites rather than divides. When every citizen feels represented and treated fairly by government institutions, national unity is strengthened. The public service thus becomes not only an administrative instrument, but also a unifying symbol of one government serving one people. Reform is vital to ensure the public service remains fit for purpose in a changing world. Modern governance requires transparency, efficiency, and adaptability. Reform must focus on improving performance management, strengthening institutional independence, and upholding merit-based recruitment. However, reform should empower, not overregulate, the service. Laws should provide direction and accountability, but flexibility must remain in management. The Public Service Bill 2025 must capture this balance. It must set a framework that values integrity, professionalism, and service delivery. It must seek to rebuild morale, reward performance, and modernize the machinery of government. This is not just another administrative measure, Mr. Speaker. Rather, it is an opportunity to restore pride and professionalism in the public service. For finish, Mr. Speaker, the public service is the heart of governance, the hands of policy, and the face of the state. When it functions effectively, the government earns legitimacy and trust. When it fails, no leader or law can fill the void. Strengthening the public service is therefore not just an administrative exercise. It is a national imperative. It is about ensuring that government remains effective, accountable, and truly in service to its people. With that, I commend the Minister for Public Service, the Bills and Legislation Committee, and all who contributed to this bill. Mr. Speaker, I lend my full support to the Public Service Bill 2025 and Misida.
Thank you, Honourable MP for South New Georgia, Rendova. Any other members wish to contribute to the motion? Thank you, Honourable MP for East Choicho. Have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, by very short number. I first thank the Minister for bringing this fellow bill come and Parliament and join the other speakers that have acknowledged the good work that the Bills and Legislation Committee doing a report. Thank you very much for improving the report there now. I think, so copy come out, we shall read him now this time. But so still got him with the copies that have got him blue for blue. But I think we complain now, so they can come up with a nice copy now this time. So read himself every recommendations. Thank you very much. 67 in all. Thank you very much for the good work that he. A lot of good points are raised. In fact, the bill let me pass now, Mr. Speaker. And it brings us, I guess, to the point of why do we have debates a second reading?
And it is debates really when government introducing a business in Parliament and then trying to defend it, Mr. Speaker. But I think that everyone that spoke to the bill, Mr. Speaker, everyone supported. The leader of the independent group and speak on our behalf, and everyone, I think, everyone talk now and giving support to it. The leader of the opposition on behalf of the opposition group have supported the bill as well. So the bill, I'm supported. I'm also so. I guess the debates now have become just basically presentations by members of parliament supporting, commenting on certain aspects of the bill in support. And also, so as the minister actually rounding up the debate now, so that we go to a committee where the real discussions will really happen, Mr. Speaker. The public service is one of the oldest institutions of this country, Mr. Speaker, from the churches. Churches come in, and they come in before the government, and they are institutions that are set up to serve people. And that is what public service is too. It's apart from the churches, the public service is one of the oldest institution established in this country. Even before this country became a nation in 1978, we already have public service when the colonial government existed this one. During those days, simple number, Mr. Speaker. I think the reason for coming up with some sophisticated legislation is because the public service evolve with the situations. As the environment become complicated, population growth, people, different interests come inside, and also the public service exists not in isolation. It may exist in given environment, and so it has to respond effectively to the environment it exists in. So that's the reason why we have this laws. I was fortunate, privileged to join the public service, I think 6 years before independence, and so we are during the colonial time, Mr. Speaker. So respect, Mr. Speaker. They really want you to demonstrate in front of them now. And I joined at the lowest level of public service as a toilet cleaner, Mr. Speaker. And office boy, mail boy, and also, so, what we do, we will start the workload and discipline. Now we have to codify these things. But discipline, we're enforcing by upper 7, we will call them classified workers. Classified now. You go stand up and line up, and I joined the public service, Law Inland Revenue. From toilet cleaner, I localized the Commission of Inland Revenue after 17 years. But we stand up in front of the door and expected to greet the people coming there, white shoe, white socks, white trousers, white shirt, white hat. They walk in, and you must stand up. Good morning, sir. Come in. Good morning, sir. Come in. After the sit down finished, you walk about go to desk and tea or coffee, sir? Tea or coffee? Tea or coffee, sir? And that's where I learned black and white coffee. But there's a story about the former Prime Minister sending him a while ago. And so you will give me white coffee, and mine go look out in white coffee, and Chinatown go no, man. It is coffee and mixing milk lab, no. Then buy white coffee. Anyway, black coffee. coffee tea, and Bogatale. And we will come and serve more. Sir. Thank you, sir. And those are the days where respect, they're expecting you to demonstrate. But as public service grows sophisticated, more people come inside, environment change. Public service, Mr. Speaker, exists is one of the service delivery agencies of country, Mr. Speaker. Not the only one. And probably the political government need to think that way as well. In fact, the delivery services agencies of country include private sector, various levels of government, of this country, provincial government system, the public servants themselves, public service, NGOs, the churches, These are service delivery agencies in this country. We see them that way, Mr. Speaker, because they exist in an environment and exist in under a system of government. Government exists and then come up with policies and other sections or different delivery agencies and they order deliver. And sometimes you may require them directly, or even NGOs by deliver also. And SOEs, state-owned enterprises, is government commercial arm. So if a service is such that they must function in better commercial way, I'm not even establishing what state-owned enterprises like Port Authority, for example, SIA, SIWA, or what delivery service, people pay for it, and that's how it sustains that service. So the point that we want to know is public services is one for service delivery agencies, country, apart from other agencies that exist. And very interesting, Mr. Speaker, and all the values that Imi Haram is supported by various speakers that Tatala. This is good that now you codify them overnight. You codify more. And it's very interesting, the titles that you adopting, system start political government, are servant kind titles. Right? Ministers. Ministers not. Servants not. Servant title. Prime Minister, servant of the servants. He wants to say, then civil servants are servants. So it's good that he start to codify these things because, Mr. Speaker, some of people by come to counter, our old man come and ask him, come to the wrong place now, say, come to born and go to lands here, but then come to inland revenue now. And me want them land or send me, but come to inland revenue. You know how some officers respond? Say, here, you go there. You come wrong here. That's not how public servants should be dealing with people who come for ask for help to public service. Everyone are helping people to public service. If I'm come wrong, you want to go to lands? Okay, wait. I'm taking me to vehicle here, taking me to car, taking me to go to minister, and go introduce him more there. Oh, money come wrong, they want to deal with him land, but I'm coming to inland revenue. That's how it should be, Mr. Speaker. So we can have all these good laws and by me passing over now, but where we actually practicing over is something that is different, and that's where supporting institutions like IPAM, for example. We used to have ETC, Administrative Training Centers, and also a lot of before. They were training me how to relate to the public as service delivery agency of the government. So, sir, I don't want to talk long here. I just want to point upon the fact that this will bill pass now. And all the debates now happen this time is individual submission by members of parliament to the House, supporting certain aspects of the bill. But the bill as it's presented by the government and passed the threshold, it should now, the House will have a problem for passing. So with that, thank you very much for the bill. This House in support, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP, for this choice. You let me give the floor to Honourable MP for Northern Georgia. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Speaker, thank you for giving me this time for me contribute a little bit law. What I would say, one of the most important piece of legislation brought by Janet government since taking office. Very important bill, this one. The Speaker, the bill had come a long way. A good number of political and administrative leaders, public officers, and other stakeholders contributed to its making. What is presented before us is a collective product over a number of years by a number of successive governments. May I take an opportunity for thanking the Minister for public service. And at the same note, all the former ministers too, law public service. One of them would be the Deputy Prime Minister. During their tenure, Bilia and Wete Moketa, and all the two contribute. Maybe in a small way, in a big way, but their contribution adds up to this final document before us. Mr. Speaker, me like also commending the Chair and members of the Bills and Legislation Committee for their scrutiny role, and the Committee Secretariat of the National Parliament and other divisions of Parliament who had contributed in the preparation of the report on the Public Service Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, this bill before us is not just an administrative tool or another legislation. Lomi, him a little bit important, higher bill. It is a constitutional level commitment to good governance. It is the foundation upon which a responsible, capable, ethical, and responsive state is built. This bill reflects critical investment in state capacity. Mr. Speaker, Solomon Islands public service systems abandoned by outdated laws, ambiguous mandates, political interference, weak accountability, corruptions, and nepotism in the public service. This will bill him try to address him now o kata issues here. Address these long-standing issues, challenges, and deficiencies of the current system. This bill promotes transparency in recruitment, efficient service delivery, integrity in leadership, where public servants serve the people and not politics. There are some fundamental behavioral features where me looking Lobelia as very important. By me try for discussing one or two no more, Mr. Speaker. One fella is the clear role between the Public Service Commission and the Ministry of Public Service. I think this bill, let me put in very clear lines there. But on this note, Mr. Speaker, me like to raise him one issue where you need to address him and manage him too. This is the political and administrative interface. Role blow minister and role blow public officer. You need to clear him good. So that okata complementary, not diverging. Not one fellow go this way, another one go this way. They must be complementary. I think this whole area is important for you must look to him. It needs to be managed. Two, this bill enshrines the principle of meritocracy into law. Even like a merit now, not any other one. And promotes performance-based management, linking rewards to outcomes. This one, him making appointments and promotions based on merit, him very good there, Mr. Speaker, because we find the right people for the right jobs. The other important feature where we happy to much him now is the inclusion and the strengthening of accountability with the inclusion of ethics, values, and disciplinary measures law this bill. What me like say lo here no more, Mr. Speaker, is no need for reading mo the values here. No need for reading mo the ethics here. Let's live by them. Grow in those ethics and values. If you reread him, no anything will happen here. Let's grow and live by those ethics. If even not doing, the bill him know anything no more. So maybe when it comes to other subsidiary legislations for public service, our good minister will look at some of these and then improve more what is in this bill. Mr. Speaker, these reforms, once enacted, will reshape the culture of our public service from one of complacency to one of excellence, where confidence and public trust is restored, and where morale and retention in the public service is enhanced. Mr. Speaker, currently our public officers are not really motivated here. They are not motivated. They have the skills, they have the qualifications, but are unmotivated. Because you may now not motivated Moketa. I think this bill will address that. A country like ours, Mr. Speaker, it's important for you to say that the effectiveness and efficiency of services of hospitals, schools, infrastructure projects, and even our economic reforms depend on the capacity and integrity of our public service. Without a professional public service, even the best policies fail at the point of implementation. That is why it is important that we must nurture and good public servants and public servants believe me. Mr. Speaker, public servants must be mindful that they are facilitators and enablers of progress by serving our people with commitment and dedication. They must serve with integrity and impartiality and consistent in enforcement of the law. A public office is an office of trust, not an office of privilege. Effective and efficient service delivery will restore trust and confidence in government. Mr. Speaker, governments come and go, rise and fall, but the public service remains and continues. You must look up to good this group here, public servants. The passage of this bill will not only strengthen our public institutions, but also lay the groundwork for sustainable development, trust in government, and a brighter future for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, a weak or politicized public service leads to waste, delays, mistrust, promote corruption and nepotism, and poor and efficient service delivery. But a professional and accountable public service, as it is intended in this bill, will accelerate the implementation of government priorities, attract development partnerships, and ensure equitable service delivery. Mr. Speaker, there are specific areas that need to be clarified and safeguarded from potential misuse and abuse. These form part of the Bills and Legislation Committee recommendation. I hope the Minister and his ministry will enlighten us on some of the issues and concerns raised in the report. 3 issues me like for CRM no more, Mr. Speaker. Him all same. Imi like him reform here for inclusive. Those public officers in the provinces, in the remote areas, or they must receive the same support and opportunities as those in the headquarters. That is not what is happening now. Those in the provinces and in the remote areas, they are the forgotten lot. You look at training opportunities every year. How many come from provinces? Very little or nothing at all, Mr. Speaker. Even forget them, this bill must make sure that they are considered equally. Yeah? No good you say imi modernize in public service, but imi just forget them or imi modernize them the way we forget them. That should not happen. 2, one area where we look to him for him consider no more, Mr. Speaker, is currently the Ministry of Public Service is the employer of public servants. To me, this is like public servants employing themselves. This is, to me, a weak space in the public sector. Me like to suggest him for the ministry for look good this one, and for finding an independent oversight body to see and oversee the human resource management of the public service. The third, Mr. Speaker, he may not happen in other bills, but me like to suggest them, this for the public service bill, that there must be a periodic review clause bill for say that after 10 years, bill must review. No open him up for them, then after 50 years, then you may review more. So that him compel him, you me for, oh yeah, you must try to review this one after every 10 or 15 years or so. Remember, the public service is a dynamic institution. Him growing and revolving every time. So we have to keep up to the present practices of public service. Finally, Mr. Speaker, me just like for AGM, me for everyone, and me totally agree with the honorable member for East Joseph. Me for agree finished, him pass finished now. But me like for ask mo for support go mo, support him go bill, yeah? Not for ourselves, but for the future of Solomon Islands. And for the generation of public servants who will be proud to serve their people and country with professionalism, accountability, and patriotism. With those, Mr. Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you, Honourable MP for South New Georgia. Thank you, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also briefly contribute to this bill. My contribution will be brief, as most of the points have been raised by other members of Parliament, and I don't want to repeat myself. But Mr. Speaker, first of all, we'd like to thank him, my good friend, the Minister for Public Service, for tabling this bill, as well as the permanent secretaries and all the staff from public service, and those that are involved for making this bill come along Parliament. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Bills and Legislative Committee for looking through this bill due diligently and
give recommendations quite a bit, and I hope the Minister will take into account those bills recommendations. Mr. Speaker, as you know, others have stated the bill has a long-time debate, 30 plus years going towards 40, and I am timely for modernizing this act belong people belong to public service, as the minister himself in Italian. This bill for modernizing the public service, and I fully agree on that, Minister. As others have stated, Mr. Speaker, public servants are agency for delivering services to people below me. They trust this to our people here. But I want to encourage public servants that being a public servant is a calling given which you are taking, and it's a stewardship. And me like me for public servants, please respecting the calling that you are carrying. But on that note, Mr. Speaker said, I think the bill him making ways for government him recognizing the effort and the work public servants doing for delivering or the services to the long nation. And I can tell the minister with this bill by passed parliament, you have all those things that are there for you implementing or rewarding or say thank you, Lord public servants, believe me. Before me, I'll take a seat. I have 3 further recommendations and or encouragement for minister for him to look at him. As alluded in the paper and other speakers, for me, like encouraging, number 1, for encouraging minister for digitalizing public service. As a Minister for Communication and Aviation responsible for digital transformation, I will assist you for helping you putting on the platform here for digitalizing public service for him efficient or delivery of service in long country. Second, Mr. Speaker, recommendations as well on contracting. I was the former Minister for Public Service in 2019 when I came in, and I really pushed the contracting of the senior management. Me like encouraging Minister for look long contracting long public service, how best use of utilizing, make him so that they're happy for delivering services to the long nation. And finally, Mr. Speaker said, make it the third point, we like put him long minister for reigniting public service. Most speakers have telling what we mean doing, and this includes the values and core law conducts long people work among me, restore the trust that the public by carrying long public service, be ethical, transparent, and accountable law workable. Those are 3 recommendations or encouragement me like for Kim Law Minister for look to him as he try for implementing this bill long act long public service. With that, a few remarks, Mr. Speaker, say I support this motion and I resume my seat.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister. Any other members who wish to contribute to the debate? Well, it's now 12 o'clock. I think I will suspend the proceedings of the Parliament and will resume at 1:30 this afternoon.